So I have my students choose to work in 3 dimensions. Up until this point, they have been working in 2 dimensions, albeit they have done perspective up to 5 points. But this gives them a process where they can use their science and math skills. My background is architecture, so I love the model building process of having to think not only of the front of something, but the top, the side, and how I'm going to formulate a piece so that it's not going to wiggle and wobble and actually be a worthy piece of art.
Trivium go through a poetry course, and the best kind of poems of the first semester get sent to us, our students, and we get to try and create or convey those ideas that they're giving us. And I remember when I was reading through the poems, there was one about an orange. And whenever I was trying to think of how I was gonna depict it, I was thinking of a still life or some sort of painting. But after I started looking at some of the adjectives describing the orange, it was described as elegant and beautiful and glistening. I thought, well, it kind of sounds like it's describing a person. So that's kind of what inspired this piece, was a poem about an orange. The face was definitely one of the biggest challenges, trying to have it look symmetrical, how I kind of had it envisioned in my head. But it really is just a lot of trust in the process and taking your time with the details and just trusting that it's going to work out in the end.
I chose sculpting because I've always found interest in it. It's always something I wanted to experiment with before. This is kind of challenging myself to see if I can explore 3D instead of 2D, which is my main medium. Trying to shark into 3D is something definitely new for me because I don't often draw sharks, so I thought it would be nice. And also, I'm eventually going to add a coral reef. With 2D, you're only focusing on one side. Maybe sometimes there's perspective, which gives a more 3-dimensional look, but here you have to do everything. For the fins themselves, I actually have another wire inside like this. I still have to meld it together so I can take it off, because otherwise it would just flop. Oh, and the cup is for water. It allows you to much easier kind of blend it. Just don't use too much. Don't use too much.
I did also another poem. It was the eclipse poem. It was this whole story about eclipse, and there was forest. It was a forest with an eclipse in the background, and it described its vibrancy when they had first collided. It had a lot of expression of just this joyful, surrealist kind of look. And so I went more of a surrealist route with my colors specifically. I used magenta, cyan, and yellow because those colors always end up so much more vibrant, and so I kind of went more purple and yellow to get the most contrast because of opposites. And I used the clay in a way to kind of pop out the moon and the sun rays, just so that it really made emphasis on that.
I have them pick out at least 3 or more nouns out of that poem that they want to be inspired by. And there's beauty in that. They bring back their inspiration photos to me. They combine all these images and they make something beautiful themselves. There's something about them actually observing that makes them slow down and think about the surroundings they're in and the things that are man-made that we made. So I think that's really important, that we take time to observe what's already been made beautiful.